Hi, I'm Chanelle. Earlier today, the Chief Minister said on Manx Radio Breakfast, a study is underway into whether the Isle of Man should have a housing association. Ciara, Sowerby and Devon from the Manx Tenants Union told me while it's something they welcome, they don't only want the scope to be on the British Isles.
Whilst we somewhat welcome the idea of a tenants union on the island, I think that we want to be very careful to make sure that this isn't going to be a backdoor towards privatising our social housing stock. We keep looking towards Jersey as an example of good housing models, and that's one of the inspirations behind this policy, I think, is that Jersey has a housing association. However, they have a housing crisis that's worse than ours at the moment, so I don't think that we should be looking towards them for inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, it is frustrating that our scope for imagination for housing solutions is limited to the British Isles, when there are far better models in Europe. This weird sort of like Anglo-centric idea that we can only take ideas that are adopted in Britain and handed down to us, and we can't innovate in any way, is concerning. I mean, Vienna has a much better housing model than we do. A lot of people live in social housing that is good, high quality, and it's the most livable city on earth, really friendly to business. The Germans and the French have really amazing rental rights, which means that housing associations, whilst they do exist, are not strictly necessary. So there's a lot more we can be doing at the moment, and what we would call for are three things. Fundamentally is funding social housing, getting rental rights up to the modern world. We've got the worst rental rights in all of Western Europe. And lastly is more housing supply. These three things are far more essential than experimenting with a new interesting model. And if they want the benefits of housing associations, they could just give existing housing providers some of these rights under legislation that they've been calling for decades.
All right, so just to get it right, it is welcome, but you'd like to see them look at other models as well, not just focus on Jersey.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, focusing on Jersey when they have a housing crisis worse than us, they aren't a model of success. And there's a lot of dissent within Jersey at how they structure and how they deal with social housing. So to look at them uncritically is concerning, and as we say, we don't want this to be a backdoor toward privatisation.
Would the tenants union like to be involved? Will you try to approach government and see how you all can add to it?
Yeah, we'll do our best to reach out to government. It'll be interesting to see if they get back in touch with us. It'll be fantastic. I mean, I think there is an issue in which housing policy is created by people who are already in secure housing. Housing policy is created by people who earn 2-3 times the national average and far more than any renter, and they don't really encounter renters on a day-to-day basis. So creating ideas on behalf of people rather than collaboration with people is a concern on the island, and it's a problem that we have in a range of policy areas. So meeting with us would be fantastic, and we will be reaching out to them to try and get some contact with them.
We're looking at Jersey. Jersey, I think they began this whole housing association on their side in 2014. We're now in 2023. It's almost a decade later. Do you feel as though maybe the island was falling behind? We should have been doing this maybe earlier or sooner?
The best time to have addressed the housing crisis would have been 10, 15, 20 years ago, when we started noticing housing prices boom and rents become unaffordable. The second best time to address the housing crisis is right now. We've had a Tynwald that was elected on a promise of dealing with the housing crisis, and it's been 2 years and we've seen absolutely nothing, right? And we'd assume that in 2 years of paying salaries for MHKs and for the people responsible for this, that we would begin to see some traction. And unfortunately, I think the patience of a lot of people are running out, and either they're going to get frustrated and take that out in the ballot box, or B, they're just going to leave the island. And that's what a lot of people are doing. People are leaving the island and they're going to places, and they're pleasantly surprised when they get there that some people, even in England, run by the Tories, has much better rental rights than we do.
I think looking at Jersey and saying that we're behind the curve on it, Jersey haven't got this right in 10 years, so I don't necessarily think we're behind the curve yet. However, I think that it remains to be seen how we deal with this and how successful it is.
Can we maybe focus on what they've been doing wrong all those years and try to make sure we don't go down that same route?
So the issue is with housing associations, because they're semi-private, they aren't insulated from market pressure. So if general housing prices go up, then the housing costs associated to tenants in social housing over there and housing associations are also going to rise. Social housing tenants on the Isle of Man have been insulated from the rising cost pressures to a large extent. So you can get a 2-3 bedroom house in the private sector from anywhere between 1,500 to 2.5 grand over here, whereas in social housing that's capped between £500 and £600, which is a lot more affordable to someone who is working or middle class. And which is why we do need a strong sector of social housing run by the government that does not have a profit incentive and is insulated from some of the pressures of government. So housing associations do have a welcome role, but they can't be a substitute for the effective models that we already have that are just cripplingly underfunded.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Little Manx Radio newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.